Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do another take on this. I just made a batch of this and it was good, but it burnt on the bottom. So I've done some research trying to figure out how to stop your rice from burning on the bottom of your Instapot or Ninja Foodi in my case. And there's been a lot of suggestions out there, but we're going to try it this way. So in my first batch, I took my white long grain rice and I toasted it, which is what a Mexican rice normally does, is you toast your rice. But I'm not going to do that this time in my Ninja Foodi. Reason being, because from what I read, you need to separate your rice a little bit from the bottom of the pot. So I would have to toast it, take it out, then mix everything up, and then put it back in. And I'm not going to do that, just on a whim of whether or not it'll work or not. So we'll skip the toasting my white long grain rice. But let me go over what we're going to use in this recipe. So I got 2 cups of long grain white rice that I have rinsed and drained. 1 can, just your normal can of, I don't know what the weight is, hold on. 1 15-ounce can of Bush's black beans. I rinsed those and drained those as well. 16 ounces, which is, what'd you say, 2 cups, or 1 16-ounce jar of paste chunky salsa. Now, that is critical. Do not use paste picante sauce, because I've done that before and it's no good. It doesn't taste good. You definitely want the paste chunky salsa, and that gives you the great taste and what we're looking for. So 2 cups of paste picante chunky salsa. Really want to confuse you guys on that. 2 cups of paste chunky salsa and 2 cups of chicken stock. This is my own homemade chicken stock I made from shredding chicken. And we are going to add 1 packet of Sazon Goya. Goya makes this seasoning. It comes in a box with these little pouches in it, and they use it for Mexican cooking, and it's supposed to be really good. And what this is going to do, other than add flavor, it's going to add me a nice dark color to the rice as well. So that's all we're going to do. So here's how we're going to try and tackle the problem. Let's go ahead and add our chicken stock. And our salsa. And our black beans. And our packet of Sazon. Let's give that a nice stir. Now what I'm going to do differently here is I'm going to get that up to temperature, boiling temperature, before I add my rice. That way my rice isn't sitting in this pot on the bottom all the time it takes to heat all that up to a boiling before it can build up pressure. Does that make sense? It does it to me, so we'll see if that works. So let me put this on. We're going to put it to the sear saute mode on high and press start. Now it's going to take a while to heat up and get this boiling, and I'll just stir it occasionally, but we're going to get that boiling. So I'll see you once that comes to a boil. Okay, we're at 7 minutes here and it's starting to boil. I am going to continue heating that up to where when I stop it like that, it's still boiling. So that's almost a continuous boil. So I'll tell you how long it took me on my Foodi. We're not far from there now because it pretty quick much comes back to boil pretty quickly already. So by doing this way, when we add our rice to this, it's just minimizing the amount of time that rice is sitting on the bottom while the liquid comes to a boil to create pressure. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, that's pretty much coming to a boil as soon as I quit stirring. So now we're going to take our rice. We're not going to stir this. I'm just going to put it in. And the best I'm going to do with this, get it all in there, is just spread it out so that it's all submerged without stirring. All right, so let's turn that off. Let's close it. Put it on pressure cook. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to press the keep warm button off. That way it won't continue heating after it turns off or builds its pressure. All right, so we want to pressure cook on high for 3 minutes. And we're going to do a delayed release at 10 minutes. All right, we're ready to go. Then we'll press start. Now it's going to build up pressure, but the good thing is it shouldn't, make sure I got that sealed. It shouldn't take quite as long to heat up to pressure. That's the theory anyway, so wish me luck. I'll come back when that is starting the 3-minute countdown. So what the other commenters on the internet are saying that by putting that rice in there and not stirring it, the liquid is underneath it a little bit. With this recipe, you're going to have the salsa underneath that a little bit and the black beans underneath that rice a little bit, all keeping it kind of off the bottom of the pot. So hopefully that's going to work. And there we have it. It has built up pressure and it's starting my 3-minute countdown for pressure cooking. So I'll see you in 3 minutes. All right, and now finish those 3 minutes. It's on delayed release. The cooking temperature, the heating plate is now turned off. We don't have, the keep warm button is turned off, so there's no heat being applied. So hopefully that's going to make a difference. What this will do is it'll sit here for 10 minutes and then automatically release my pressure. It'll give me a warning first to basically let you know to stand back because it's going to release the pressure. And then it'll release the pressure. So I'll come back right before this releases the pressure so you can hear that warning. Wish me luck on this. I'll see you then. All right, there's my warning telling me it's going to release it. And there it releases the steam. So that will release now. And once the pressure is totally gone, it'll tell me that it is ready for me to open. I hope this comes out much better than my last batch. But be advised that I did not throw away that last batch. I'll be using that. All right, it's telling me it is ready for me to open. Still a little bit of steam coming out. I'll wait till that kind of stops before I go ahead and open it. All right, wish me luck. Here goes. Unlock it, lift it up. Oh, that looks so good. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, that's better. No burnt bottom. I'm so happy. So there you go. You YouTubers out there, that's how you solve the burnt bottom of your rice. Bring your liquid to a boil before you start pressure cooking. And if you can, just dump your rice in there. Don't stir it. Just give it a flatten out so that everything's kind of under the water. And perfecto. No burnt bottom rice. I am so happy. All right, I'm going to let this cool down just a little bit and then we'll try it up. And I'm going to go celebrate with a cup of coffee. I'll be back in a minute. All right, let's go ahead and get this ready for freeze drying. So on pounds, 0, we want to put About 2.5 pounds on here. Does that look good? You know it does. I can tell you it is. Alright, that's 2.5 pounds. Let's throw my dividers in there. Just like that. And that was a very simple, very productive learning experience and a very simple way to make some Mexican rice with black beans. Now, we'll get this totally cooled down, then I'll transfer it to the freezer, get it frozen solid, and once it's frozen solid, we'll fire up the freeze dryer and this will be going in the next load. Next time you see this, it'll be coming out. Thanks for watching, and we succeeded. All right, there's my 40-hour run in the freeze dryer. My Mexican rice with black beans in it. Now, to be fair, full disclosure, this batch is the stuff that kind of burnt to the bottom of my pot, which we corrected earlier in the video, but I don't want to waste this, so this is going to be, I'm going to go ahead and package this and we'll eat that. It wasn't burnt so bad that it tasted burnt. It just didn't look very good, so we are going to go ahead and package that. And we are going to do my, so we could do this as a side dish and put 2 squares in there, but I think we're just going to do my standard 3 squares, and I'll use it as a meal on its own. Well, with the beans and the rice and all that stuff, we make a good meal. Give it a little crumble up. Set it aside. All right. Since that's one tray, I only got 3 bags with 1 square left over, and I'm going to eat that later. All right, let's put a 300 cc O2 absorber in each one of those. When I'm repackaging these extra O2 absorbers, I like to put the O2 sensor in there where I can see it. That way I can know that it's got a good seal. It'll take a day or 2 for that seal to turn pink again, but it just lets me know that my O2 absorbers are still good. So let's get those sealed up. All right. I'm going to go ahead and zip these shut. By zipping these shut, it gets them out of the humidity. It's not too humid today though, but it also makes it a lot easier when we go to seal it because it's nice and flat. So I always like to go ahead and zip them shut. All right, light is going out. Let's go ahead and put a heat seal on those. Put it on there. Look for the edge to melt on that. I know it's got a good seal. There you go. So we'll leave those out for a day or 2 just to make sure they stay nice and sealed, which they will be. Then we'll put them away for long-term storage. -1, because later this afternoon we're going to come back and rehydrate one of those pouches and see what it comes back like. I'll see you then. All right, let's have some dinner. Let's dig into my Mexican rice with black beans. I guess we need to have some water if we're going to rehydrate this. Hold on a second. There you go. I think we're in business now. Alright, so let's take our O2 absorber out. Pretty full pouch we got here. 3 squares. And using my tried and true, we'll see if 3/4 of a cup is the right amount. Here we go. We got 3/4 of a cup of water in there. Zip that shut. And start our 2-minute timer. See you in 2 minutes. All right. There's my first 2 minutes. Let's give her a stir and see what we got. Do we have enough water? Well, it's nice and fluffy. It could be considered dry. Let me see what that tastes like. We're just going to go with that. Zip that shut. Start my timer again for 2 more minutes, and I'll be right back. All right. That has been a total of 4 minutes. So we'll give her one more stir. Now I'm looking at this and I'm thinking I could put a little bit more water in there. But I don't want it to be soupy. So we're just going to go with that. I'll let you guys look at the consistency of it and you can decide whether you would add a little bit more water to that. Alright, let me get a nice close up for you guys on that and I'll be right back. Alright, there we go. Now let's dig in and give you my impression of my Mexican rice with black beans. You know it's good. I will just add a little bit more water to that. So we used 3 of those squares that I used in my medium Harvest Right tray, and we added 1 cup of the H2O stuff, the liquid water, and it makes it nice and moist. I should have probably done that in the first place. It rehydrated very well with the 3/4 of a cup, but it tasted a little bit dry, not a lot of sauce to it. Just that extra 1/4 cup just kind of made it a little more saucy. Not a lot, not soggy, but just moistened it up beautifully. So, I am going to finish this for my dinner. We'll get this put out on the video for next week. And I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you try my Mexican rice in your Ninja Foodi or Instapot, whichever one you have, because the recipe works great. We'll see you next week.